3 tours in Iraq. 12 years as a Delta Force commander. I've faced suicide bombers, insurgents, and warlords, but nothing prepared me for this enemy. An enemy hiding behind manicured lawns and fake smiles. An enemy called my HOA. This is where my war began. A letter accusing me of unauthorized livestock. Their target? A 3-legged rescue goat named Rocky. My son's best friend. Their proof? A blurry photo taken from the road. And just like that, my dream of peace turned into a nightmare. I bought this farm to escape rules. No neighbors for miles. No traffic. No chaos. Or so I thought. Turns out, HOAs don't care about city limits. They don't care about common sense. And they definitely don't care about the law. I laughed at first. A goat? Really? But then came the fines. The threats. The men in uniforms who showed up unannounced. They called themselves HOA compliance officers. They had badges, paperwork, and a warrant to enter my property. But here's the thing about soldiers: we know fake authority when we see it. That's when I realized this wasn't about a goat. This wasn't about a fence. This was a power play. And I was their test subject. They started small. A fine for Rocky's goat shed $50. Then $100. Then $300. By week 3, the stack of violations was thicker than my military service record. Karen Whitaker, HOA president, smirking as she drops a notice into a mailbox. Karen, mocking voicemail. Mr. Delta Force, pay up or we'll seize your land like we did the Boswell's home. You know how that ended. 2 men in polo shirts with HOA compliance badges circle the property. One peers into a window. They called it routine inspections. I called it war. Their cameras appeared overnight, pointed at my son's swing set. My barn. My bedroom. Red circles highlight violations: a loose fence board, Rocky chewing grass. Legal expert, on-screen interview. Minnesota law bans HOAs from surveilling private spaces. Yet here, they weaponized security cameras to fabricate violations, a tactic seen in Boswell v. The Retreat. 2 men in fake sheriff uniforms bang on the door. Security footage timestamp, 2:14 a.m. Fake Officer 1. Child Protective Services received a tip. That goat's a biohazard. We're taking your kid now. His badge said Osceola County. But the stitching was crooked. The nameplate? Peeling. I'd seen better forgeries in Kabul. Delta Force Rule 1, never engage without backup. But when they grabbed my son's arm, let's just say Karen picked the wrong soldier to bully. I stand at the kitchen window, coffee in hand, watching a sheriff's cruiser pull up the driveway. The tension in the house is thick. When you've spent your life in special operations, you learn to trust your gut. And my gut told me this wasn't just HOA nonsense anymore. I needed backup. That's when I called my brother, my real brother, who just happens to be the county sheriff. My brother, in uniform, sits beside a stack of paperwork and a laptop displaying a digital map. Brother, smiling slightly. I thought I'd seen everything in this county. But when I saw those fake badges and that so-called jurisdiction map the HOA sent you, I was stunned. It was like something out of a bad TV show. They even spelled sheriff wrong. Attention to detail, 0. But the threat felt real. These people weren't just overzealous, they were organized. And they were getting bold. My brother and a deputy pored over files, making phone calls, requesting records. My brother launched a full investigation. He filed FOIA requests, dug through the HOA's financials, and started interviewing neighbors. What he found was a pattern, one that matched some of the biggest HOA fraud cases in the country. We've seen this before. In the DOJ's Las Vegas cases, HOA boards took control through fraud, forged ballots, and intimidation, then funneled contracts to their friends. The same playbook was showing up here: fake citations, bogus elections, and harassment of anyone who pushed back. Neighbors speaking on camera, faces blurred for privacy. Neighbor 1, exasperated. They towed my car for being the wrong shade of beige. I kid you not. I had to pay $400 to get it back. When I asked for proof, they just waved a clipboard at me and said, HOA rules. Neighbor 2. My fence was 2 inches too high. They threatened to put a lien on my house. I've lived here for 30 years. Never seen anything like it. I thought I was the only one. Turns out, the whole neighborhood was under siege. My brother holds up a stack of forged documents, meeting minutes, fake citations, and a doctored contract with a towing company. Brother. These aren't just mistakes. This is fraud. And it's criminal. Legal expert. Florida's Senate Bill 426 is a game changer. It creates a special unit to investigate HOA fraud and corruption, with real power to subpoena records and prosecute offenders. This is exactly the kind of abuse lawmakers had in mind when they wrote it. I and brother met with a group of neighbors in a garage, surrounded by boxes of documents and coffee cups. We started comparing notes. The HOA had forged signatures, sent out fake ballots, and even tried to rewrite their own bylaws to expand their power. One neighbor found a check written to a shell company for landscaping for $10,000. The only thing they'd trimmed was the truth. Neighbor 3, laughing bitterly. They said my mailbox was a security risk. Next thing I know, I'm getting letters from a law firm I've never heard of. My brother, now in full sheriff's uniform, stands in front of the HOA clubhouse, flanked by deputies. It all came to a head at the next HOA meeting. My brother walked in with a warrant and a stack of evidence. For the first time, the board looked scared. The HOA board, their confidence crumbling as deputies begin collecting documents and computers. Brother. Abuse of power isn't just wrong, it's illegal. And nobody is above the law. Not even your HOA. News headlines: HOA board under investigation for fraud, sheriff raids local HOA office, community demands reform. I never thought I'd see the day. But it turns out, when you stand up and fight back, and when you bring the truth into the light, justice has a way of finding its mark. At the HOA clubhouse, evening. The parking lot is full, neighbors murmuring as they file into folding chairs. The air is charged. I stood quietly in the back, watching my brother, the county sheriff, enter with deputies, body cameras rolling. This was it. The moment we'd all been waiting for. The HOA board thought this was just another meeting, another chance to intimidate and control. But tonight, the tables were about to turn. Deputies stepped to the front, flanking the podium where Karen Whitaker sits, gavel in hand. Her face shifts from smug to startled. Sheriff, firm, projecting. Karen Whitaker, you are under arrest for forgery, impersonation of law enforcement, conspiracy, and multiple counts of fraud. Please stand up. Karen leaps from her chair, voice shrill and desperate. Karen, screaming. You can't silence us. This is harassment. I demand my lawyer. Deputies calmly handcuff her as the room erupts in gasps and whispers. Other board members are similarly restrained. A neighbor films on their phone, capturing the disbelief and relief on residents' faces. I'd seen arrests before, but never like this. These weren't drug dealers or gangsters, these were neighbors. People we'd trusted to mow the medians and organize the block party. But power had changed them. And now, justice is catching up. The deputies collected boxes of documents, computers, and fake badges. Evidence bags labeled forgery and fraud are sealed and carried out. 26 HOA leaders convicted in the DOJ's Las Vegas scheme. Over $58 million stolen from homeowners across the country. News clips anchors reporting on the arrests, headlines scrolling, HOA board arrested for embezzlement, $6 million fraud uncovered in Miami, Florida HOA president faces racketeering charges. Legal expert. These cases are not isolated. From Las Vegas to Miami, we've seen HOA boards abuse their power, rigging elections, forging documents, and funneling money into their own pockets. The law is finally catching up. They threatened my family. They tried to take my son. But Delta Force taught me, never back down. You stand your ground, you gather your evidence, and you fight until the truth comes out. At a community meeting, weeks later. Neighbors shake hands, some hug. The sheriff addresses the group, promising reforms and oversight. I stand quietly, finally at peace. Neighbor, smiling. I never thought I'd see the day. Thank you for standing up for all of us. This wasn't just about me, or Rocky, or even my son. It was about a community learning to say enough. About holding the powerful to account. About proving that even in the quietest corners of the country, justice still matters. I came here looking for peace. I found a fight I never wanted. But I'd do it all again for my family, for my neighbors, for what's right. When the dust settled, we all had to figure out what came next. The old board was gone, but the wounds they left behind ran deep. It wasn't just about money or rules anymore, it was about trust. And trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. Community Town Hall. Folding chairs fill the clubhouse, but this time, there's no tension, just neighbors talking, some for the first time in years. The sheriff stands at the front, flanked by a local attorney and a legislative advocate. Neighbor 1, raising hand. Do we even need an HOA anymore? What if we just run things ourselves? Attorney. You're not alone. Across the country, homeowners are taking back control. You have the right to dissolve your HOA, hold new elections, or rewrite your bylaws. Here's how we do it step by step. Neighbor 2. I never thought I'd have a say. Now, I feel like this is my home again. Legislative advocate. Empowering homeowners reforms are spreading fast. We're seeing new laws that require HOA board members to complete mandatory training, disclose finances, and hold open meetings. Transparency is no longer optional, it's the law. Justice isn't just about winning in court. It's about protecting your neighbors, your family, your peace of mind. It's about making sure no one else has to fight the same battle. Neighbors rebuilding together, repairing fences, planting flowers, repainting mailboxes. The community feels alive, united. Neighbor 3, hammering a nail, laughing. I guess we're all a little handier than we thought. I came here for quiet. I found a fight. But in the end, I found something better, a community worth fighting for. Neighbor 4. To stand up for what's right. And to new beginnings. We learned the hard way that power unchecked can destroy. But we also learned that when good people stand together, they can build something stronger, something that lasts.